We living in a crazy time. I don't like this. I'm an intense person.
No, stop it.
Probably the most casual, soft-spoken conversation we've ever had.
That is incorrect.
Okay, clearly I'm just playing, but she is seemingly everywhere. Just about.
I'll get people that'll be like, why aren't you talking about ba, ba, ba? And it's like, baby, I didn't even know about that, okay? I was visiting my mom and I was on my trampoline.
Talk show host, actor, comedian, influencer, Amanda Seales, using her platform and her voice.
I got a lot of voice.
And welcome to The Pulse. We say it every week that the best part of this show is the people that we get to bring on, all the information they share. They're all doing amazing things. And today we have another one of those people. I hesitate to define her because she does so many things. I'm going to let her define herself. She's actress, comedian, and there I go defining her. Amanda Seales joins us on The Pulse. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You're a little busy right now.
Yes, but in a good way. I'm not complaining. I am busy. I'm actually going to be in Philly on November 12th, doing stand-up at the Miller Theater. So really excited to be doing that. And I am about to be launching my syndicated radio show with Reach Media and Urban One on November 7th. And we will be launching in Philly on 100.3 WRMB.
Absolutely. I saw you running up the Rocky steps on your Instagram page. So you're all in.
Yes, we were going around Philly and, hitting the tourist spots, because definitely people told me, Philly folks don't be running them steps, but there were a lot of people running them steps.
There every day. Don't let them tell you that. Everybody always tries to give you Philly, we're like that. You're a little bit of an outsider, so we're going to criticize you. Nobody gets the cheesesteak there, and then the line's around the corner. I know.
One thing I love about Philly, though, is Philly is a land of real ones. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Philly is a land of real ones. So it is serendipitous that would be the first place that my syndicated radio show would be launching, because I'm a real one.
I started off kind of the whole I'm not going to define you, and you that quickly just put out all the different things that you've been doing. Do you even define yourself, or how do you define yourself?
I mean, I guess like the thing that people say now is multi-hyphenate, somebody who does a number of different things in the creative space, or, really basically just has a number of different streams of interest. For me, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm 41 and I've been working since I was 8 in the entertainment space. So I've had a lot of just time and experience in figuring out like the stuff that I want to master, the stuff that I want to continue to work on. And at this point, it really is just, just being able to have my own voice in as many spaces as possible where I can be myself. And so sometimes that voice is one that is speaking about, politics, and, that's like radio is a space where I can speak about politics and relationships and pop culture and do all of that with my humorous tone. Boom. But then we have like the stage, right? So I can come on stage and do my stand-up, and we're going to make y'all laugh and think at the same time, but that's going to be an art form in itself, doing stand-up. And then there's also like my podcast, right? Small Doses is my podcast where I'm basically like doing self-help from a humorous point of view, and we have guests, and I talk about everything from side effects of anxiety to side effects of, your partner's potential, et cetera. Like, so I just feel like I explore these different spaces, but as long as I can be myself in those spaces, I consider them to be valuable.
Kind of doing the research, you said that you just like having that voice, like talking to people. You kind of figure out what you're going to talk about as you get on stage or as you start the show. Is that why something like radio is appealing?
Well, radio was my first job out of college. I started at Sirius Satellite Radio March of my senior year. So it's kind of a comfortable space that I really found my voice in early on. And then I just dovetailed out into other things. And so to come back to this space, it feels like I'm coming back to a comfortable space where I've already kind of know like the technical stuff. But to your point, I can now add to it just the identity awareness and the emotional knowledge that I have at this point, and just like the world experience that I have at this point.
Fendi, I have a problem.
Converse.
I have a problem. I love how you just like don't even care.
So a lot of people right now know you for Insecure. That's what a lot of people know. And it seems like that space and a lot of other things you're doing, I guess, helped cemented the whole she's just real and comfortable in her own skin. And, you're
I don't think Insecure had anything to do with that. Insecure, I'm acting, So, I mean, it's not like you're getting to see like me be comfortable in my own skin because I'm literally in another person's skin. Right. It's a character. I think it's more so, just a confluence of my interviews and then my takes on social media and then my book and my podcast. Like it's the places where you show up as yourself and then it's consistent. There were real things going on during this pandemic, from, George Floyd's murder to the insurrection to people posting black squares on Instagram to try and act like they're down with black folks and they really have no idea what that really means. Like there were just things to talk about.
But have you been the person who's been comfortable taking on those challenges, those issues, putting yourself out in front of, some really controversial topics?
I've been that person since I was 3.
Really?
Like I've literally been that person my whole life. Like when I was 3 and the teacher told our class we were stupid, like I came home and told my mom, the teacher told our class we were stupid. Like she was up in that class the next day. But that's always, I got in trouble in high school because our art teacher was teaching us about Aborigine art, and she referred to the Aborigines of Australia as a Stone Age people. And my hand shot up in that sky so fast. I was like, that is incorrect. They're not a Stone Age people. Like they are ancient peoples who are absolutely a part of current day civilization as well. And she called up to my mom and we had to have a whole deep meeting with the dean because Amanda was correcting the teacher in front of the class. I've always been this person.
So where'd it come from?
My mother is from Grenada. Grenadians as a culture are a very outspoken and political people. I was fostered in a culture of, if you're gonna let misinformation be delivered in front of you and not challenge it, then you are enabling it.
So has it changed in doing that? No, I absolutely agree with that. I think that the that you got from me is that there's not, no, that was so much passion. What just happened? No, I think that what's interesting, particularly when we do this show, I think that a lot of people feel that way, that you have to or you should challenge the types of things that are wrong or people are being hurt. But a lot of people, especially when they ascend to the level of exposure that you have, are less comfortable doing it. As you have more to lose, people tend to hide behind that and are not as willing to step out there and take on those challenges. And that was the because you are very seemingly very comfortable stepping up and doing that, almost as if everybody would.
The ascension that you speak of has literally, very much in part been based on me being my authentic self and being that person who's going to say the thing. And I think the reason why it was an ascension is because I have an uncanny knack for linguistics. Like I'm really good at expressing myself and getting a point across in a succinct and clear way, right? So, and that's part of me coming from a poetry background and a rap background. I'm a master with words. I'm really good at that. But I think a lot of folks, even if that's how they feel, that isn't necessarily a part of what their route has been. And so once they get to a certain point on their route that they were doing simultaneously, they're like, oh, well, this is a thing I have to leave out now, or I need to find another way to do it that's maybe more surreptitious, right? That's the other thing. I use my voice. Some people use their money. I use my money as well, but I don't have as much money as other people do.
Got a louder voice than money.
I got a lot of voice, though. Got a lot of voice.
How do your peers feel about that? Because you will hold people in Hollywood and other places very accountable as well.
I think it's weird that there's this weird hyperbolic version of me that people have. I'm coming around with a pitchfork, what you talking about, Willis? You know what I'm saying? And it's first of all, rarely do I even say people's names directly. There's a lot of people that I can just address behind the scenes, you know, like there's people that I've definitely said like, hey, like, what's that? And then there's people who have come to me and been like, what's that about? You know?
Okay.
But then there's people that you have to say their name. Like when I see Isaiah Washington, like boldly sitting up there with DJ Vlad talking about how Aaliyah at 15 had control of her relationship with R. Kelly, who impregnated her as a young woman and then tried to have her married to him. I'm like, I got to say your name. You are wilding. And that is like boldly disgusting language to hear from an adult. That being said, you know, there's other stuff that, you know, is just like me speaking. And if someone feels like it's talking about them, then it's like, well, that's the hit dog hollering. But I think it's really the medium of Instagram that be like making people feel like you're talking directly to them. Because if you think about it, when you're looking at the phone and I'm looking at my phone talking, you feel like, damn, she's talking to me.
Anti-Black remark, Amanda. An anti-Black remark would be Kanye West saying that slavery is a choice.
The topics where you will go at the topic, let's not say at the people, they don't seem like things that should be that controversial.
Brother, that's my point. Like, it's not like I'm pulling something out from like under a rug, like, wait a minute, now let's not, it's not a gotcha thing. It's 9 times out of 10, I feel like most people are saying the exact same thing. They just don't have a platform of 2 million people, or they may not feel like they can because they may not have like the words, or they may not feel comfortable articulating their point. And then when I say it, they're like,
that part.
See?
Like that part, like what she just said, like hit like on social media.
But you know, like so many people just don't feel seen, like in their sanity. We living in a crazy time.
Yeah.
Okay. We're like literally like, even being smart, people be trying to act like that's ableist. So at this point, it's like, we have to still uphold like tenets of honesty and, you know, facts, and just even the reality of like the importance of research and ethics, which has become just kind of like lost in the world of, I mean, journalism is like this in many cases, you know, all these editorial headlines. You're like, what does that even mean?
But you just pointed out that people have this kind of, you know, whether it's true or a myth, they have this image of you as the person who's going out there and confronting people, and I'm coming at the necks, and I'm going to correct all these things. And then we agree that the things that you're saying aren't or shouldn't be terribly controversial in nature. But doesn't that then imply that more people aren't doing it? Like if you're standing out because you are, like, doesn't that imply that more people are not stepping up and speaking on these things that should, at least in theory, be obvious?
There's like an expectation that like every actor, every athlete, anyone with a platform should be speaking out about everything at all times. And it's just not realistic. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't love for that to be the case. I would love for people to all feel like I have a platform, so I need to speak out. But I also know like not everybody knows about everything that's happening.
Right.
Like I'll get people that'll be like, why aren't you talking about ba, ba, ba? And it's like, baby, I didn't even know about that. Okay. I was visiting my mom and I was on my trampoline. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, so I think to your point, yes, I would love to see like more people speak about things, but I also know that this is a path that I have taken. And I think what I would like to see more is there to be an effort in media to show more critical eye around things versus running with a sensationalism angle that gets clicks, but that doesn't hold things up to a light of accountability, which is what journalism in its best form really does.
November 12th, you're in Philly at the Miller Theater. For people in Philly, it's part of the Kimmel campus. It used to be the Miriam Theater. There's a lot of people have been there, and we encourage everybody to come. You just started to touch on it, but in a real city, you know, what are people coming to see when they come see you at the Miller Theater?
I mean, when you come to an Amanda Seales show, you're going to get a range of things. You know, you're going to get me talking about like why Clarence Thomas is like, how did we get a Clarence Thomas? Like what happened in this child's life that we got this fish looking man acting up?
Okay.
What happened? Okay. You're going to get that, but then you're also going to get like the difference between, you know, dating a hood brother and a brother from the hood. There are differences. And you're going to get stories. You're going to get commentary on Roe v. Wade, on gun control, on me growing up in Orlando. But the most important thing that you're going to get is my typical brand of no nonsense, keeping it 100, and really trying to like get folks to think about things in a way that they may not have thought about, and do it through comedy.
And doing it at a time where people are a little hard on comedy right now. Like people are not as open perhaps as we once were to allowing comedians to be comedians.
I mean, I think for what it's worth, like people are just a lot more aware of their own voices, right? So that's really what it is. People have now more than ever been able to be like, I don't like this. For a long time, there's only certain people that had access to being able to say that. So now we have folks that can, really speak up, and it kind of is going to bleed into every area. And so it's bled into comedy. I mean, I've gotten it sometimes, but ultimately the comic's job is to make people laugh. If that person doesn't make you laugh, don't support that person. And, I think there's an effort that gets made a lot of times to be like, if I don't like this, it shouldn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to be said for that in other spaces outside of art. But I do think it is everyone's right to say when they don't think that something is good for society, or they don't think that something is good for them. But I also feel like at the end of the day, artists is gonna art.
Get our stamina up, because we're gonna be waking Philly up every morning on 100.3 WRNB. It's me, Amanda Seals.
DJ Nails. And we did it!
The radio show.
Yes.
You got the comedy routine, kind of having Philadelphia see you up close and personal, and then the radio show, and we'll expect more of the same, just open, authentic you.
The thing about radio, though, is like, you getting me every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. You're getting me every day, and I want to make sure. I literally made a spreadsheet of like the grid for our radio schedule and our segments, et cetera, and color coded the stuff that's kind of serious and the stuff that's funny, to make sure that I'm giving y'all a balance of funny, but also focused. Okay, because that is really the full version of me. I'm an intense person.
No,
but
stop it.
I'm also, silly and a fool. So I want to be able to show all of that, because I know that's a lot of people. We are multidimensional. I feel like there's people who only know about me because of seeing me in other spaces. So they only get a certain version of me. If you've been in my social media space, or you've been to my shows, et cetera, you will see like, oh, this person has dynamics, and we're going to bring that to the radio. And I want to make sure that we bring the people to the radio.
You will be fine. I'm not the least bit worried about that, and I'm excited to listen to it. We end every episode of The Pulse with the concept, use your voice for good. It means different things to different people. Sometimes it's charity events. Sometimes it's holding people accountable. I can only imagine. But what does use your voice for good mean for you?
Use your voice for good means for me, use your voice for good vibes, use your voice for good tidings, and use your voice for good efforts at being a good person.
I like it. If I had a mic that wasn't attached, we could drop it and leave it there.
That's what's up.
I appreciate you doing this.
Great questions. I appreciate you.
This was fun. Next time you're in Philly, seriously, come in, sit down. We got another space. You come down and we'll just talk.
Well, I'll be in Philly before the show, so please, y'all, make sure you get your tickets to the Miller Theater on November 12th. Mm-hmm. I'm just super excited. I haven't done stand-up in Philly since like 2018, I think. So I'm long overdue to be on stage in Philly. And we want to make sure that we do our best to sell this show out and show Live Nation that Philly rocks with your girl, Amanda Seals.
Oh, no doubt. Guys, thank you so much for watching The Pulse. Wow. Like, I feel like that's what The Pulse is about. These types of discussions, exploring people, getting a better understanding, not shying away from issues, and having fun. And Amanda Seales is all of that. And if you would like to hear more of it, the podcast available all places you get your podcasts. You should subscribe, download this one. Make sure you get more of Amanda Seales. I think I'm going to go download this one as well. I leave you today, as I always do, reminding you that whenever you can, use your voice for good and have a good one.